I'd like to take you on a journey now. And in this journey, there's going to be a story told, of which you are part of yourself, as well as many other characters. So allowing yourself to become relaxed, comfortable, open and aware, ready to experience, to just watch, to listen, to feel, simply because you can. Take a few deep, mindful breaths in and out, connecting to your body. And just allowing for that breath to enter and to exit. Knowing that each breath is just as important, is just as beneficial, is just as worthwhile as the last. Between the inhale and the exhale, every part of the breath is just as important, just as meaningful, just as worthwhile. And that where we could try to categorize a breath as being a single one, a single breath in and out being one breath. I'd like you to notice that the rhythm, the continual flow of the breath as it goes in and out, is one breath, a single breath, the eternal breath. But for now, I'd like for you to join me. So having closed your eyes and entered into a deep and relaxed state of being, just listen to the sound of my voice as we go back in time, forwards in time, side to side, inside out and upside down. And just listening to the sound of my voice and hearing and feeling as that breath enters and exits your body. Allow as you drift deeper down still. Allow for the words that I am speaking to be heard clearly and embodied fully. And I'm sure that you've all been to a shopping centre recently, having been Christmas. And perhaps you've used a lift. Or at some point in the past, I can almost guarantee that each and every one of us has used a lift at some point in our life to take us up or down. Go ahead and just drift deeper down still. Down. All the way down. And as you step onto the lift, I'd like you to allow for 7 other people to join you. The first 7 people that come to mind, including people that you are very close to, as well as those which you only know from a distance. People who are the most important to you in life, as well as those who really matter not. And with the 7 other people and yourself being the 8th, go ahead and press the button to go to floor number 8. And as you begin to rise and ascend, fully and completely embodying this experience and the truth of who you are your self-worth, your unconditional worth. Take a moment just to appreciate everybody in the room around you as the lift comes to a stop. The lift has stopped midway between two floors, and part of the safety procedure is that the lock is fastened tightly and that the lift is sealed, is airtight. Within this room, within this box, within this world, every person in that lift, despite how important that you perceive them, is all in the same situation or having the same experience. I'd like you to notice that each person has a different point of view, a different perspective. The happy-go-lucky, half glass full person sees it as just another experience, even likened to an adventure. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe something exciting. Maybe we'll meet somebody new. There is a few people that just seem to accept it for what it is. Sit down and get out their phone perhaps, do something to pass the time, to distract themselves from what is taking place. And there will always be somebody who sees it as the end of the world, as the worst thing that has ever happened. Oh, that's it, we're all going to die. Well, yeah, we are. We are all going to die. So let's enjoy the experience up until that point. Return to the breath. Focus on the breath for a moment. Listen as it exits and enters your being, as it fills your lungs and your entire body in that beautiful inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and let go and release everything and anything which is no longer serving you. Allow the breath to enter and exit. Enter and exit. I'd like you to take a moment just to realise that the process of breathing is one of acceptance. You are worthy of the breath. You are worthy of life. Therefore, you are worthy of everything that you can experience within it. To live your most joyful, expansive, and beneficial life is actually doing justice and giving gratitude to the breath. It is using that breath to the enjoyment of yourself and everybody else. The more that you are in a place of peace and harmony, joy and bliss, the more easily it is for those around you to see this upon you and within themselves. And after 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45 minutes, there has been no communication with anybody outside. There has been no real communication with anybody inside. Yet there is one fact that is clearly and by everybody known and felt, that the air in the room is becoming thin. The oxygen levels are plummeting. And with each breath in and out, you are taking that valuable life force energy out of the air and integrating it, infusing it within your being. And in this moment, I would like you to ask yourself, are you any more or less worthy of that beautiful life-bringing breath than anybody around you? Being worthy of the breath, just as worthy as everybody else, as each of you takes your own unique breath in and out. I'd like you to notice that nobody is trying to take more or less of what is always there, of what is theirs to receive, that unconditional abundance. Breathe in and fully embody your worth of that breath, of your life, of all the joyful, liberating and uplifting experiences within it. You do not know to a point of complete understanding, realization what the future holds. You could have lived a very ordinary, very sheltered, very uneventful life so far. And that could and will, through your choice, change in an instant. Or you could have experienced a multitude of situations, of events, of experiences, but not learned anything from them, having been too narrow-minded and focused upon material possessions or goods or wealth. Perhaps you've experienced a lot, and it has all passed you by. Is the nature of a man, of a woman, which for me projects what they are able to experience and achieve. Yet somebody who is here to cure cancer is just as important and no more important than somebody who is here to fix the plumbing in my house. Each person plays their unique role in a way that we are unable to consciously comprehend. Yet each person is equally important and worthwhile, worthy of experiencing life, this beautiful game, adventure that we call life. And as you all continue to breathe in and out, notice that each of you allows that breath to enter and exit equally and unconditionally, not trying to take more or less than anybody else, experiencing the breath for what it is, through the acceptance of it, and the unconditional allowance of all that is, was, or ever shall be. You are worthy of the breath. You are worthy of warmth, of cold, happiness and sadness. You are worthy of being awake and asleep, alive and passing on. You are worthy of all experiences and then some. I wish you happiness and health, abundance in all ways, including wealth, prosperity, joy, and bliss. A bliss that connection to your true internal self will bring. I ask that you fully and completely, with the next breath in, breathe in and embody that worth. And take a moment just to realise, as everything shifts and alters and changes, that you're stood within that lift on your own. You have always been there on your own, and that in fact you have not even yet pressed the button. And the experience that you have just had was all created by you, for you, so that you can see that no parts of yourself outside or inside are more or less worthy or important than any other. Your point of view, your perspective, your belief is just as important as somebody else, and theirs to yours. Just as there are many people outside of yourself, some who play more important roles, some who you would previously have perceived more important or more interesting, that you spend more time communicating or connected with. Just as there are those people that you do not care too much about and do not spend too long interacting with. There are all manner of parts, internal parts to yourself that represent these external. These internal parts each have a role, a task, a position within the whole, and each one of them brings you a different outcome to a different situation. Which one is more important? Or are they in fact all equally and unconditionally important? As well as smattering not. To decide that the part of yourself which is happy is more important than the part of yourself that is sad is fundamentally incorrect, as both parts are part of the same whole, part of the same self. You in completion are priceless. You are worthless because there is no worth that can be attached to you. You are a being of unlimited potential in all ways, and you are one complete sovereign being. The consciousness that you are housed within the body that you are operating, that you are experiencing it all through, is your aspect of self, just as mine is of me. Yet I know that my worth is the same worth as yours is of me. And just by allowing that breath to enter and exit, knowing that each one of us is entitled to and actually benefits from the intake and release of that beautiful breath. Beautiful. I'd like you to write down what it is that you are desiring the experience of or the achievement of. Write down your goals, your desires, your ambitions, your dreams, and next to it write the number that you are. Write them in a list of importance, with number 1 being the most relevant, number 1 being the one you want to experience and achieve most of all, and number 10 being the one that you want to experience least of all. And then with that list, make a new list of 3, with those 3 things being the most important to the least important. but your top 3. The 3 most important things. Create a new list with the most important being the 3rd on the list. Focus on that one and then bring your attention back to the first one. And know that in order to reach the last step, step number 3, you need to take step number 1. Which step is the most important one? On a journey, which step is the most important? The first, the middle, or the last? We could say that the first is most important because it begins the journey, and without the first step there is no more to be experienced afterwards. We could say it's the last step because it's the last step which brings you to the completion of the journey, with all the experiences being fully integrated and embodied. We could say it's the middle step because we know what the beginning is, it's the first step, and we know what the end is, it's the completion of it. Yet it's the middle that we create and experience as we go. It's the middle part that brings the enjoyment and the pleasure and the wonderment to life. It's the middle ground that is always the true and most beneficial way. Whichever path you take, whichever direction that you are heading in, create this list for yourself, and then after taking the first one and realizing it's just as important and worthy as the second, and that is just as important and worthy as the third, you'll realize that by taking smaller steps towards a bigger goal, the bigger goal is easily achieved because you are reassuring and re-cementing that worth within yourself and the ability to be able to achieve as you go along that path, that journey, that experience. Thank you.